What if one word could help you stay focused, inspired, and intentional all year long? Hey y'all, welcome to the From Surviving to Thriving podcast. You know, the place where we take the veil off and pull the curtains back on our everyday lives. I'm your host, Jackie. In today's episode, we will be discussing your word of the year. Of course, we all know it's 2025, and yeah, it's the second week or so into the new year, but it's never too late to choose your word for the year. We'll explore the concept of choosing a word for the year and how it can influence your actions and your decisions. We'll also look at why this practice is effective, how to choose a word, and finally, how to integrate that word into our daily lives. Now that 2025 has started, this is typically the time when people start to make those New Year's resolutions and you start to set your goals for the year and kind of lay out your plan of what you want your year to look like. Unlike resolutions, a word is more flexible, adaptable, and it definitely gives you a much broader framework for you to lay your goals out for your growth for the year. Choosing a word helps align your decisions and your actions with your core values and your intentions. It also helps you to have some sense of focus and clarity when you may be having some uncertainty. My words for 2024 were transformation and revelation. Transformation meaning a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance. And revelation meaning a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. Although I did not start off 2024 with the intention of transformation being my word for the year, it just so happened that as the year started and as things progressed, I started to realize that transformation was my word for the year based on just the things that I was expressing to the people that were closest to me, the things that I would discuss with them. Those things embodied the word transformation. And as the year progressed, I basically took that word on as my word for the year and applied it to the decisions that I made for myself and the actions that I was taking. The year started out with me seeing a lot of the people that were closest to me for who they really were. Some of it was good, some of it was bad and indifferent. It also showed me who really and truly loved and cared about me, regardless of how I was impacting their life or whether I was, fulfilling whatever need it was that they had. I was also in the process of realizing some things about my own self that I didn't know before that I needed to work on. And I also learned about some of the emptiness that I had inside where I did not know what my true purpose in life was. And in order to fill that emptiness, I needed to figure that out. I started to work on myself mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I started to go to the gym on a consistent basis. I started to see my therapist on a consistent basis and actually doing the work while in therapy. Not just going to my sessions, but going to my sessions and being present and being honest and being open and applying myself and doing the work. And that process helped me to get to a much better emotional and mental space. I also prioritized working on the relationships with the people that were closest to me, allowing them to see me for who I really am and getting to know me on a different level. And finally, I was able to reveal and release some of the things that I was holding on to for decades that knowingly and unknowingly was impacting my life and my relationships. Those words, transformation and revelation, may have just been words in general when I was just saying them, and I constantly heard myself saying those words when I spoke a lot throughout 2024. And yeah, they are just words, but they did end up becoming my words for 2024 that I embodied, and my life for 2024 embodied that. I've watched myself transform from the person that I was at the beginning of 2024 to the person that I am now in the beginning of 2025. And I know that there's a big difference in my life and how I operate. That is one of the reasons why I believe choosing a word for the year, even if it's just one word to start off your year, that will drive or even influence the way that you make your decisions going forward. Based on the way that 2024 turned out for me, it definitely influenced me to decide to choose a word for 2025 that I know will guide me and also be impactful in the way that I approach 2025. That's one of the main reasons why I believe choosing a word for the year can be so impactful. So now that we're aware of how having a word in mind can actually be impactful in our year, now let's take a look at how to choose your word for the year. In order to choose a word that will be the most beneficial for you, it's best to reflect on what your needs are and what goals you want to accomplish for the year. Some of the questions that you can ask yourself would be, what do I need to focus on this year? For some people, that might be improving your career goals. Maybe you would like to move up in the company that you're working for. Or if you want to step away from your full-time job and start a business, then this year might be to help you focus on what businesses you may want to start, or even taking some of those steps to start your business. Maybe your focus for the year will be starting a family or increasing your income in some way. Maybe you're looking to find other streams of income. Whatever it is that you want to focus on this year, think about those things. Another question to ask yourself is, what do I need more of in my life? I'm sure a lot of us could use some more money. You know, that's probably top of mind for a lot of people. Or it could be you want more travel in your life, or you want more activity in your life. Having the answer to that question can also guide you into choosing what your word for the year will be. Another question to ask yourself is, what is it that you want to achieve this year? So that could be, I want to graduate from college with my master's degree this year, or I want to get my certification in X this year, or I want to make sure I end the year off with an additional $10,000 in my bank account this year. Whatever it is that you feel is something that you would like to achieve, that will also steer you in the right direction of choosing your word for the year. Another question to think about is, how do I want to feel throughout the year? So if you're looking for a sense of peace or calm, I know the world is anticipating some chaos this year, and rightfully so. Things are just so uncertain. People are concerned about a lot of things, whether it's economical things, family related things, their children, their children's education. There's a lot of things that people are concerned about. And a lot of those things will invoke certain feelings that you may have. So knowing how you want to feel this year can also help steer those decisions that you need to make this year. And a word that is related to that will kind of keep you on track so that you are focused on what it is that you need to focus on. Another question that can help you narrow down that word of the year would be, what qualities or values do you want to embody this year? What qualities are you looking to exhibit? What qualities and values do you feel should be driving your actions this year? Do you want to be someone that is being of service to others? And finally, another question that can help you narrow down your word for the year is, what challenges do I foresee, and what word could help me navigate those challenges? Being able to answer that question about your challenges that you might face will definitely influence the word that might be the most effective word for you. So if resilience is your word for the year, then you know that you're not going to be the one that folds as easily. Maybe your word might be courageous. And whenever you are faced with something that you feared, or taking an action or making a decision that you've always been afraid of doing or making, with courage being your word, that might push you to take that step that you've never taken before. Consider what decisions, or consider what has been a challenge for you in the past, and use that challenge to choose your word. That way, that challenge may not be a challenge for you this year. While you're taking the time to brainstorm on what your word for the year is going to be, it's good to reflect on your core values. Just think about who you are as a person and what your beliefs are. If you're looking to improve on your personal growth this year, some of the words that you can choose for yourself would include words like evolve, transform, growth, courage, resilience, and focus. Those words embody what personal growth looks like. If you're looking to improve upon your relationships, whether it's intimate relationships, friendships, work relationships, whatever relationships you may have, some of the words that you can use for this year could include connection, love, kindness, trust, support, harmony. These are all words that would embody what having good relationships for this year would look like. These words will help steer you in the right direction when you're planning and making decisions about your relationships. If you're looking to work on your mindset, some of the words that comes to mind would be joy, gratitude, peace, presence, abundance, and patience. If you're looking for words that are action oriented, words like empower, thrive, drive, explore, create comes to mind. If you want to focus more on, say, your balance in life and your well-being, some of the words that comes to mind would be grounded, energy, flow, heal, balance itself, and of course, self-care. If you were to make decisions based off of those words, your end result would be that you would have a year that is reflective of having good balance and an even better sense of well-being. Once you've narrowed down the word that you would like to use to direct your decisions and your actions for the year, write it down. If that word stirs something inside of you, if that word feels like something that is pushing you in the right direction, that may be your word for the year. So write it down. Once you've written it down, now that it's in black and white, congratulations. You have chosen your word for the year. That will be the word that will help you navigate the coming months. Now that you have chosen your word for the year and you know what that word is, let's take a look at how you can integrate that word into your daily life. In order to integrate this word into our daily lives, we need to take some steps to get that done. The first step that you should take is to make sure that this word is visible around you. That way it stays in the forefront of your mind. So write it down in a journal, write it down in your planner, set it as the wallpaper on your phone, write it on your vision board, and surround that word with the things that you want to accomplish this year. That word should be top of mind every day when you wake up, because that is the word that should be steering your actions and your decisions on a daily basis. The second thing you should do after you've made the word visible is to set some intentions around the word. That word should be used to help you set your goals for this year. That word should be the lens that you're looking at your life through when it comes to this year. That word should be what you use when you're making decisions for yourself this year. In my case, reflecting on 2024, where transformation was my word for the year, some of the decisions that I made was to go to therapy. It was to start working out in the gym. It was to take that self-discovery and self-love journey to Asia. Those were all decisions that were made around that word. Even though it may not have started initially because of that word, while I was in the process of making plans for my trip to Asia, I knew that I needed to transform myself in some way, shape, or form. That was a word that whenever I spoke about that trip, that was what came out. I wanted it to transform my life. I wanted to go and find my purpose. I wanted to come back a different version, a much better version, a much better self-loving version of myself. So I knew going into the trip that I wanted to be transformed while on the trip. Same with the gym. I wanted to transform my body. I wanted to be healthy. Going to the gym and being consistent and putting in the work transformed my body to what I wanted it to look like. Same with therapy. I knew I wanted to transform my thought process, how I made decisions, how I was dealing with myself, how I was showing up for my own self. And therapy helped to transform me mentally and emotionally to the person that I am now. Setting goals based on that word will allow you to lay the groundwork of what you want your life to look like over the next coming months. One way to know if you are on the right track after you've chosen your word and you've set the goals for yourself and you've started to implement changes in your life, if you ask yourself, does this decision or does this action aligns with my word for the year, and that answer is yes, then that means that you're on the right track to attaining whatever goal that you set for yourself. However, if your answer is no, then you may need to sit back and reconsider whatever that decision is, because most likely you're not following whatever path you've laid out for yourself this year. The third thing that you need to do is create a daily reminder for yourself when it comes to this word. So that may mean incorporating it into your daily journal entries that you may do. You can also include it in your daily affirmations that you say to yourself, or just add it as a part of your morning or afternoon or evening routines. And the last thing that you should do when it comes to incorporating your word of the year into your daily life is to check in regularly. Revisit your word on a monthly basis to see if it has been impactful in the way that you need it to be. Has it been guiding your daily actions? Has it helped you make the right decisions that align with the goals that you're trying to accomplish. Some examples of how to implement the word into your daily life would be if you chose the word growth and personal development is your area that you would like to focus on this year. Your goal for the year may be read one chapter of a self-help book each day, or listen to a podcast on self-development or self-improvement, or create a vision board and list out the goals that I would like to accomplish in my personal life this year. If you chose resilience as your word for the year, your goal might be to tackle one small problem or challenge each day or each week instead of avoiding it. If your word is transformation and your area that you want to focus on this year is relationships, one of your goals to attain this year might be address a conflict instead of just letting it linger and fester. If your word for the year is gratitude and you want to focus on daily reflections and the day by acknowledging one positive lesson or one positive moment that you experienced that day. If you choose the word empower for the year and you want to focus on, say, decision making, one thing that you can set as a goal for yourself is to say yes to an opportunity that challenges you or even feels a bit intimidating. If it's been some months and you start to feel as though the word that you chose in January no longer has the same effect that you needed to have, or it's not helping you move towards the goal that you want to accomplish. The good thing is words are flexible. You can change them. They're not locked in. They're not set in stone. Even if you wrote it down on your erase board, or even though you might have written it down in a book, start a new page. Erase the old word and add a new word. Or you can just add another word. It's totally up to you. If the word doesn't feel right as the year progresses, change it or tweak it. Even though I've been using the word as a singular in a singular context, it does not have to be one word. Because as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I had two words that resonated with me in 2024. It does not have to be just one singular word. You may also start off your year with one word and end with multiple, or you may start off with one word and switch to another word. This is just a guiding principle. This is not a strict rule that you must adhere to. This is just something that is going to help guide your decision making. Where you are right now, you may not be able to narrow down your decision to just one word. I mean, there are several that could be really good words to choose from. I named quite a few of them earlier. Take your time and reflect on what it is that you truly want out of this year. When you're reflecting on what your goals are, your word will definitely become more apparent to you. I didn't truly realize that my words were my words until I'd used them over and over again in regards to what I wanted 2024 to be for me. As I started to set the intentions that I wanted for myself and the goals that I wanted to accomplish for the year, that's when my words became more apparent, because I was able to narrow down what it was that I was looking for, what it was that I wanted, what actions I needed to take, what decisions I needed to make. And while I was doing that, I realized those words were transformation and revelation. That was the point where I was able to fully embrace them and as the year went on, adopt them as my words for 2024. It is important to celebrate when you've realized that your word for the year is impacting your actions and your decisions. So, for example, if your word for the year is balance, and you realize that you set the goal to take a 15-minute walk every day before you log off of work, because you know that it's great to just step away from your desk sometimes, get some fresh air, and then come back to work. If you've set that as an intention for yourself, as a goal, and you realize that, wow, I've been doing this for a month, and each day I've been remembering to get up and go take a 15-minute walk, celebrate that. You are sticking to something that you have set for yourself as an intention. It's something that is surrounding the word that you've chosen, because now you're implementing balance in your work life. Even though that is just one area of your life that you are implementing the balance, just knowing that you're successful in that area will help you to improve the balance in other areas. Then you can start to balance with your family life. Maybe that looks like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour in the evening playing with my children before I go to bed. Because I've allotted that time for them, I have the balance for my family, and I'm seeing the balance in my work life as well. Celebrate those. Those are wins. Whether the win is a small win or a major win, a win is a win. Before I wrap things up, let's take a look at what we've discussed in this episode. We've explored the impact that choosing a word for the year could have on your actions and your decision making. A guiding word acts as a compass. It guides you. It shows you which direction you need to go in. It helps you make the right decisions for wherever it is that you would like your life to go. It helps create some sort of clarity for you. It helps you to maintain focus on what it is that you're working towards, and it infuses your actions with purpose. We discuss why having that word is important. It simplifies your decision making, and it provides the directions that you need for your goals. That word holds weight, and it will serve as a reminder of your intentions. We talked about how to choose the right word. It's based on your values, your beliefs, and the things that are important to you. Some of the examples that I spoke about earlier include balance, focus, and joy. We also discussed how to turn those words into actions. It's best if you align your word with specific areas of your life, whether it's your relationship, your career, your health, or your self-development. By choosing a word to guide you for the next coming months, you can cut through the distractions that are going to present themselves this year. You can stay aligned with your priorities and approach each day with intention. In my cup, I have some ginger ale today. Nothing major, no shampoo or anything like that. But here's to a year filled with intention, clarity, and your powerful word. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating if you found this beneficial. Make sure you're following on your favorite streaming platforms. I'm on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and of course on YouTube Podcasts. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next